Hi, this is Jeff Mesnick from Envision. I'm here with today.
I'm Brigitte Madrian. I'm the Adjunct Professor of Public Policy and Corporate Management at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government, and I'm also a member of the Vestigo Ventures Advisory Board.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time out. I know being a professor is pretty busy and you're probably getting ready to start classes again.
Yes, in another 10 days.
10 days, oh man.
Fun
So
stuff.
what age group are you, what grades are you, freshman, sophomore, senior, or junior, senior?
Yeah, I mostly have master's students,
Master
so
students, okay.
a little bit older.
A little bit older, oh, excellent. So that's a lot of fun then, I gotta imagine.
It's fun. It's fun. They come in with some good work experience, and they're highly motivated, and they've got all the passion in the world uh, to make the world a better place. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's great. Oh, fantastic. And it looks here like your kind of focus is around behavioral finance. Can you share what
Yeah,
that means? Yeah.
yeah. So my research and teaching is in the area of behavioral household finance. So that's basically trying to better understand the economics and the psychology of household financial decision making and the institutions that support those outcomes. So traditional economic models often assume that individuals are completely rational when they're making decisions. And behavioral economics or behavioral finance takes the perspective that sometimes we're not all completely rational, and that might actually lead to differences in the way markets function and the way you want to regulate markets, and things like that. So the way I like to describe it is behavioral finance assumes that there are a lot of Homer Simpsons out there in the world as opposed to a lot of Mr. Spocks.
That makes a lot of sense. And unfortunately, I feel like sometimes I fall into that Homer Simpson area. So
I, I think we all have a bit of Homer Simpson in us.
that's not bad. When we finance our own beer. So if you're working with an organization and you're trying to help them to get a consumer to make that right choice, what kind of thoughts do you give them to help them make those choices?
That's a really great question. One of the lessons that has come out of my own research and that I see over and over in the behavior of others and in my own decision making is that people are really people are a lot more likely to make mistakes if decisions are complicated.
Right.
And there are a lot of things that make decisions complicated, which are sometimes hard for financial experts to understand. So if you want to help people make a good financial decision for themselves, the best way to do that is to make the good outcome the easy outcome.
So just to dive into that a little bit, like, do you have what's a good example of that? Is there that you might kind of tell someone, say, a good example of a good outcome or to express that good outcome
Yeah.
to a consumer? What does that look like?
Yeah, so one of the early examples from my own research is on getting people to save for retirement. So if you ask people, most people will tell you they think they should be saving for retirement.
Hmm.
And for many years, when companies offered retirement savings plans, you would have to actually sign up for them. And the participation rate was okay, but not stellar. And then some companies started experimenting with automatic enrollment, where they would automatically put the employees into the savings plan unless the employees said, "Nah, I don't want to be saving." And these companies discovered that the fraction of employees saving went up sometimes by as much as 50 percentage points.
Oh, wow.
Huge changes. And this
Yeah.
is a really great example of how making a good outcome easy can really benefit individuals. So in this case, the good outcome, it's a good outcome from a social standpoint, and it's a good outcome from the individual standpoint because most people tell you they want to be saving. And make it the easy outcome. In this case, it's the outcome that happens with no effort at all. You're automatically in the savings plan unless you take off effort to opt out.
Right. Oh, that's great. And so, assuming that that's a positive, process, and it sounds like that has been because it's been automatic enrollment. What is more of a negative? What is a worry that these financial professionals have when, and your worry, like what would keep everybody up at night?
I think, well, that is a good question.
Am I stumping you? No.
No. I think different people are kept up at night by different things.
Yeah.
Some people are kept up at night by the fear of making a mistake. The fear
Yeah.
of making a mistake paralyzes some individuals so much that they just don't do anything.
Right.
And of course, the likelihood that you make a mistake goes up as the number of options that you have to choose from increases. And one thing that we've seen in the financial arena over the past 20 or 30 years is just a vast proliferation in the number of different types of financial products out there. So, there are dozens of different kinds of mortgages you can get from, thousands of different financial institutions. There are hundreds of different types of credit cards you could get. There are, lots of different types of cell phone plans you could get. There are just lots of ways, lots of options in terms of financial products. And some of them have complicated features and they're difficult to compare. So if we're talking about saving for retirement, there are thousands of mutual funds you could invest in. How do you decide if you're not a very financially literate consumer, what's the best investment allocation? If you're getting a new home and have to get a mortgage to finance that, how do you decide, do I want a fixed mortgage or an adjustable rate mortgage? And if I get an adjustable rate mortgage, do I want it to be a 3-year fixed and then adjustable, or a 5-year fixed and then adjustable, or a 7-year fixed and then adjustable? There's just lots of complicated choices, and even full-time financial professionals don't have time to evaluate what all of the best options are. So if the full-time experts can't do it, it's really a tall order for people who have, day jobs doing other things and need to make these decisions not with a lot of time and oftentimes without a lot of expertise.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to my own thinking about choosing the right mortgage, choosing the right savings program for kids for college, the 529 plans, and obviously then planning for even savings for vacation. There's so many different ways to think about it. I remember my bank calling me up and saying, we have a plan for you to help you save for vacation. I was like, to me, that just sounded so overwhelming because it was just too much going on.
Yeah, it's one more thing to add to your plate,
Right.
to worry about, to keep track of.
So,
And people want things to make their lives easier.
right. So let's talk about an example. Is there a company out there that you've looked at and said, you know what, this company is doing it really well? Maybe they're offering a easy solution for credit cards, mortgages, 529s, 401ks. We can keep naming numbers.
Yeah. So I think one really good example of a company has been trying to do right by consumers by making things easier for them for a long time is Vanguard. Mm-hmm. And so they're a mutual company. They're not for profit, or
Yeah.
they're not a for-profit company.
Yeah.
And they're trying to provide low-fee products
Mm-hmm.
that are a good value for consumers in terms of the fees they charge, but are also meeting consumers' needs. And they were, very early in the game of at least in their business that's helping companies provide savings plans for their employees. They were very early to adopting what are called auto features, things like automatic enrollment that we talked about a couple of minutes ago.
Right. That's great. Well, it's good to know that companies are actually thinking about this as opposed to companies who are just trying to add more products to meet some bottom line of product offerings, I guess. So that's great. So if there was anything else that you wanted to share with us, I know that you, your friends, you basically became part of Vestigo Ventures advisory board because you're friendly with Ian. How long have you known Ian?
So I think I've known Ian for about maybe not quite 10 years. So I first met Ian when he was working at Mass Mutual in their retirement business. And so there was, an overlap between my research interests and understanding the decisions that individuals make in terms of retirement savings, and then what he was trying to accomplish at Mass Mutual. And then I also know Mark Cassidy, where we were both on the FINRA Board of Governors. Mark's term on the board ended a year or two ago, and I still have a couple of years left, so we're no longer doing that together. But I still get to meet and interact with Mark now through Vestigo, which is fun.
Yeah, it sounds like they've got a great fund and a lot of great things going on there. It's pretty exciting to watch.
It's exciting, and they're focused on providing capital to businesses at the intersection of finance and information technology. And it's an exciting space to be in, because I think there are lots of ways that information technology could help make things easier for consumers. So help individuals comparison shop and find the products that best meet their needs. I think one of the challenges in the space right now is there's a huge proliferation of startup ventures, which just makes it more difficult for consumers to figure out, well, what is the best product and technology for me? But there are, innovative ways to use technology, not just on the consumer facing end, which is, I think, where my interests and expertise lie, but also, on the back end behind the scenes, where some of these complexities may not be so challenging.
Right. That's great. It's, so hopefully they'll come up and invest in a company that'll make all of our lives easier. So
yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Brigitte, for the time. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to, hopefully you and I can meet in Wellesley sometime at the Starbucks over there and talk in person.
I'll take you up on it.
All right. Great. I'll talk with you soon. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.